Gia, so the sun card just flipped out, and by right it flipped out upside down, but I don't read reversals. So um, I just think that there's a double-edged sword here, two sides of the coin, if you will, with this sun card. I know you mentioned you just got divorced and you have kids. So the sun card often talks about children. In the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Wands. So I would say that in general, you're on guard about a couple of things. I think that you are, I know you said you're dealing with an Aries, or you've met an Aries, but very much I think you're on the defensive. Not only because you're trying to protect your children, because obviously you guys are in a new family situation, but I also think that in some regard you feel the need to defend whether it be your happiness or your unhappiness. Meaning you're either being defensive about the things that would make you happy, or hesitant, because I know you said you're unsure about this, Aries. Hesitant on if pursuing what will make you happy will end up putting you in a position where maybe you're not spending enough time with your kids, or also if you don't pursue this person and go after what makes you happy, that you will then end up unhappy. You know what I'm saying? There's this battle here of somehow your kids obviously being tied into your happiness, and one is seeming to infringe on the other. And I don't know if it's because now that you're divorced, you have this new aspect to your life that's now unfulfilled, and or seemingly unfulfilled and empty in some way. And just like most people that change scenarios, especially romantically, there's this tendency to want to quickly begin again, but at the same time being very, very cautious. This is a card about being reminded of like all the battle scars that you've experienced. And I think it's important, two things. One, you don't have to question whether or not your kids are your top priority. They always will be. And pursuing things that make you, in a selfish way, happy, will not infringe upon your children. And I'm sure there's times maybe, I don't know your situation, that their father will take them, and then that also gives you time to yourself to do what you want to do. But your happiness is also very much reflective of your children's happiness, because if we're talking about vibration, and children, especially if they're under 7, but even you could argue up to like 12, very much emulate their parents' energy and feed off of their parents' energy. And if you're in a place that is more defensive and cautious and not really sure, and I don't know why the word trepidation just came into my mind. Like, just, it's very hesitancy. It's very much a hesitant energy. It's almost like you're hesitant to enjoy yourself. You're hesitant to believe that life can get better, hesitant to believe that happiness can be available to you as you're moving through this transition. Know that the more you do things to make you happy, whether it be going on dates or just, reading a book or spending time with friends, that will very much ease the tension in the household that's potentially existing within your children or your child. I can't remember if you said you had one or two. So that they then can be more at ease. You being happy vibrates a vibration of happiness, and your children will automatically begin to vibrate with that. So if there's any type of disharmonious energy in the home, I think it's really important to look at if you're doing anything for you. Are you doing any type of self-care? Are you doing anything to bring, just a smile to your face? Know that you deserve that smile, and you don't have to be worried about somebody taking that away, or someone coming for your children. Like, all of that is taken care of, okay? You just need to believe that you deserve this happiness. All right, Ghia. So your cards are down now, and let me tell you, honestly, I feel like I summed up almost everything here. Like, this is the past, present, and future. I feel like I just touched on all of this and what I was just talking about. We're still going to go through it again. But your overall energy for this current situation is strength. What I love about this card is, one, it's Leo season. The sun also can represent Leo. So we have this Leo energy here, meaning that there's shifts available for you during this season. I know you said you're a Virgo, but I don't have the rest of your chart. And I know you said this is in the Aries, but regardless, there's a lot of fire here. And what's beautiful about fire is, you know, yes, it can be destructive, right? Fire can totally destroy whatever it touches if it's not being controlled. However, when something burns completely to the ground, you're able to rebuild on fresh soil. It's not like a flood, right? An emotional flood when it leaves so much in its wake. A fire leaves nothing in its wake. So I'm really feeling like this is the phoenix moment for you, of the phoenix rising from the ashes. Because with the strength card here, there's a realization that you're completely supported by something bigger and more beyond this planet, right? This human body, okay? This believing in knowing, right? In source. And through that, you tap into resiliency. I also see this as a little bit of a sexual tone, like not in like a, a bad way or anything, but like I do see a sexual vibe here, especially with the Knight of Wands. So this is, and when I say sexual vibe, I mean in like you have desires. I'm not saying you necessarily want to sleep with this Aries guy, but it's like you're realizing that you have needs and desires that, I don't know, your marriage situation that potentially have not been getting met for a long time. You know what I mean? So even though you may be newly divorced or newly meeting this guy, it's like you're finally ready to get your due or your fill on everything that you have not, you have settled for less for. You're finally realizing that you deserve everything in your heart. And it's really just a matter of going and seizing it, okay? Your overall energy as it relates to love is love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. And make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Also the card, let your friends help you, came up. So maybe this Aries guy is not someone, like I said, you're going to sleep with right now. But like I said, when I said sexual desires, more so is a desire of like the heart. And a very pure and raw desire. It doesn't have to necessarily be channeled sexually. With let your friends help you and the love yourself first and to make the effort, I think that you will be very much rewarded through making the effort, through self-care, through just doing any little thing that will make you happy, like I was talking about in the beginning. And I've been talking about this a lot on social media and in my client readings. You know, as a society, we've placed a really strong fixation on love needs to be, especially when it's between either a man and a woman or like, homosexual two men or a lesbian two women. Like anytime there's love between two people that are sexually attracted to each other, a lot of people, especially in American society, feel they need to consummate that with a relationship or with then, right, if it's in deep, intense love, consummated with marriage. And you, as someone that's newly divorced, may be able to attest to this. In true marriages, I think, rather not true marriages, but lasting marriages, I believe, are founded on this, is friendship. And something that is almost more coveted than to be someone's husband or to be someone's wife is to be someone's lifelong friend. So I think as you make the effort to prioritize yourself, your heart, your needs, your desires, you actually not only become your own friend, but begin to draw in supportive, loving people that maybe this Aries that you can date down the ride, or maybe somebody else that just gives you a lot of clarity and gives you a lot of support, because that's what you need. Though you are strong and resilient and will come out of this time in your life bigger than, bolder than ever, we all need somebody to lean on. So in the past, I have the Page of Swords in the Sun. And again, the Sun came back. So there was this fixation on you realizing, right, that your happiness does needs to get met, and that also you can't continue to have your children in the scenario that you had been in. And you obviously communicated that and got that handled. I also think that communicating with this Aries made you realize maybe where you're not allowing yourself to be happy. And I think he just, through conversation with him, maybe talking about your divorce and how it changed your view on relationship and on how to get your needs met, you're now ready to move forward into something that is a lot more fulfilling. In the present, we have the Knight of Wands clarified by the 10 of Wands. Now, this is interesting because in the beginning, we had the 9 of Wands. So I think you're ready to finally lay down that burden and move forward. This is what I was talking about before. Move forward quickly. Remember I said that meaning moving forward swiftly, because the Knight of Wands moves very fast. Now, he is facing the past. So I would take this as, basically, if this is a person outside of you, if this is your Aries, right? If this is your Aries, he may come in quick to make you realize how burdened you have been living. In a sense, from a spiritual desire. Almost as if, this almost feels to me as like he reminds you that you had lived with guilt, that you had desires that were getting met that your husband couldn't meet, and then maybe your husband made you feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this feeling here of your attraction to him, or your love that you're feeling for him is really because he's reflecting to you all the ways that you can be free, and you can be bold, and you can get your desires met. And you love that about him. And that makes sense because Aries energy is very raw. And they just kind of do whatever they want, and they never ever feel the need to explain themselves for it, which is very odd to a Virgo. So allow him to inspire you to lay down your, I almost want to say toughness. Like lay down that it's all on me now. Like granted, maybe it is in some capacity, but you would not ever be, dealt a hand that you couldn't ace. So don't worry about whether or not it's too much for you, or being happy is now like a chore. It'll never be a chore. It'll never be a chore. So view him as a muse, if you will, as an inspiration. What is it about him that has you attracted to him? And are the reasons, and are those things that you're attracted to about him, are those things that you have felt you've lacked in the XYZ years you've been married, or previous, maybe even before that? Okay? In the outcome, I love this. We have the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Swords. So through these conversations and inspirational meetings almost, you get clear. You get very clear. And this is moving into the future. It's like out of this struggle, an overwhelming soul struggle, like, I just give up. Like, you need to almost give up to realize, right? Ace of Swords, get clarity out of this dark, kind of tumultuous, changing situation, that happiness in feeling complete, and what a family looks like, and what home looks like, and what your future looks like, and what it, more than what it looks like, what it feels like, has changed, but it's beautiful. You know what I mean? A lot of us have ideas of what our life's going to be like, especially when we get married, especially I think as women more than men. Like we picture, okay, for the next 50 years, the next 40 years, our life's going to be this picture perfect family. And you're realizing that you may not have it anymore. But what I love about this 10 and this ace together, right, is that makes 11. And 11 talks about unity, and not necessarily unity between two people, but unity within oneself. And you're coming into a new stage of your life, and we have the crown here, and Leo is the sign of royalty. So I think a lot's going to happen at this eclipse for you, like a lot of people, but I think this is the arena that it's going to hit for you. A new view on what fulfillment will look like for you, how relationship will form for you, what your family will look like. All of these new concepts are going to begin to flood your mind. And ultimately what you're creating is a wholeness within yourself. And that's actually the theme that I have dubbed for this eclipse, is wholeness. And I have a video about that on my channel. It's kind of like a rant, but it actually does touch on relationship and twin flames and things like that. So I do urge you to check it out if that interests you at all. Ghia, I hope this was helpful. I feel really good about this reading. I think you're coming into your power. I think that you're, you just emailed me actually. I think that everything that you've been wanting is available to you. It's just whether or not you're going to grant it for yourself. Okay? So it has been my pleasure, and I hope to connect with you again in the future. Peace.